Action resume when it comes to basketball in Nigeria because right now NBBF Final 8 is up in Lagos where 8 teams are battling, will be actually fighting for honors. Matches have been played and we just have to look at the fact that these games will be at least making a lot of basketball enthusiasts out there to be happy. Welcome you on the show. 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. We quickly look at our first story. NBBF Premier League Final 8 dunk off in Lagos. That's the first story we are looking at as we talk about basketball. Well, the Final 8 actually started in Lagos. At least for a while now, we've not seen anything when it comes to the slam and dunk sport of basketball. But right now, we have it back. We just have to get a team that represents Nigeria, the Basketball African League. That's where the winner of this competition represents Nigeria there. And it has to be because we just need it. It's been a while we have this sport nationally, but it has been maybe a private competition all around Nigeria. But now that we have 8 teams fighting for honors there, quickly let's look at those teams that are fighting for honor in the NBBF Premier League Final 8. We have Gombe Bulls, Kano Pillars, Benue Braves, Kwara Falcons, Lagos Islanders, Rivers Upas, Nigerian Customs, and Police Burton. All of them are for the 8 teams will be fighting. At least the winner of this competition will represent Nigeria over there in the competition there, even though we are seeing 8 teams here trying to see how they can perform in this competition. Well, I have in the studio, in the person of Patrick, Andrew. Good to have you in the studio.
Good to have you, Neve. It's an interesting thing.
Good.
I'm delighted that you said that private things, this basketball is played in private courts here and Lebanon is going national. And in fact that we are leaving behind the usual controversies, personality clashes, and allowing the practitioners of the game to actually go to the court and play is something we should look forward to.
Good one there. Now, when you look at basketball, you know there was a time we were actually withdrew from international competition before federal government received the decision to go back, and all that really have a toll on our basketballers. But finally, at least, is here now. Let's see who wins this so that we can have that representation at the African level, where it's always a good thing when you see the likes of Angola, Senegal teams doing so well, and you'll be able to find Nigeria. And so right now we are back, and we hope that they will sustain this particular opportunity they are going to have.
Yes, it was rather painful after 2 Nigerian teams, the male and the female, qualified for the Olympics. And then we now had that issue of personality clashes that disrupted activities. I think it was regrettable. But now that all that the dust is gradually settling down, I think it is high time we got to settle down and then play the game. And playing the game means that we are exposing our athletes now. We are allowing the local basketballers to come to steam with the reality of playing the game, because the more they play, the more they become more versatile and the more they are available for top-notch basketball playing. And that is what I expect to see this evening. I expect to see the Nigerian players, the basketballers, especially teams like the Hoopers who are not new, the Bulls, and then especially Kano Pillars. You know, they're not new. These are teams that have played to a certain extent at the continental level. So they should give a very good representation of themselves in this tournament. And of course, there are other newcomers that are also coming. The Police Burton is also a good team. The Kwara Falcons, we've watched a couple of matches that they have played. They've also given a very good account of them. So we're hoping to see that they raise the tempo of the game and play at their peak. It will be interesting when Nigeria has a very good team, a very good representation to play at the African Basketball League.
It will be a nice one there if we can have at least one representation there. Well, right now, the representative must come from Nigeria because the 8 teams are in Lagos fighting for honors in the NBBF Premier League Final 8. And we've just been talking with Patrick Andrew, who has been giving us much analysis concerning that particular story. Let's go to football now, where, well, recently, the NFF presidency changed leadership to Ibrahim Gusau, and it has been one thing or the other. Well, hopefully, Nigerians have been at least advised now to support this man with an unwavering support to develop Nigerian football, coming from football administrator, football enthusiast, and all that. Netufo saying, well, all we need now is that we need to support Gusau for him to develop and at least deliver when it comes to Nigerian football.
Well, congratulations first of all to Gusau. He's been long in the scene. The chairman of a state federation has been part of the FA board for quite some years. He is not new to the various politics and everything that surrounds the management of Nigerian football. However, when it comes to supporting him, you can only support someone who has ideas, who has something to place on the table. So the first thing we'll ask Gusau is, what is on the table? What does he have? And what has he that he wants to sell to Nigerian public? Yes, at that administrative level, his colleagues at the board or his colleagues in state affairs and other stakeholders elected him because they felt that he has something to offer, he has something to deliver, he has the capacity to deliver. But what is it that is on the table? We need to support something. Is it working against the usual FAOing coaches? Is it not disgraceful that Nigeria owes its national team coaches, not just for a month, 2, 3, 4 months? Where else does it happen?
Even the players.
Even the players owe them allowances. This type of budgets must have been made in this regard. If a sum has been appropriated to take care of them, so why owe them? Now, it is one thing that Gusau will address. If he's able to address that and does that successfully, then we know that we have taken a step towards progress. So he needs to bring something on the table for us to support. Is it the development of the domestic league? When the league management board was first constituted many years ago, it was a thing of delight. We were very happy that something like that came on board. But unfortunately, it began to digress from when Project Associate had the first major sponsorship in this country, one of the GSM agencies that came up on board and sponsored the league. It was an interesting thing. Clubs were earning massively. So we felt that it was going to make that progress was going to be sustained and even elevated to a standard that is comparable to something that is happening in North Africa. But sadly, because of politics here and there, that did not happen. So Gusau will have to place on board his programs for developing the domestic league. Because once you develop the domestic league, you now have players that you can easily supply to the national team. Was it not sad that during the last World Cup, we have a national team that was largely composed of players in diaspora? Did it not affect our performance? Of course it did. You look at the physical presence of the Ghanaian national team, the Black Stars, the physicality of the players, the fact that they had African flavor was something that defeated the Super Eagles. Midway, or shortly after the commencement of the second half, what did we notice? Nigerian players were gasping for breath. That means that they are not used to the terrain, they were not used to the system. But if at least 2, 3, 4 of them were to be African players groomed from the domestic league, that certainly shouldn't have happened. So we're looking forward to him coming up to say, look, I have this structure to develop to grow the domestic league so that it will be so relatively comparable, not necessarily in Europe to what is obtainable in Europe for now, but something comparable to what happens within the African region, the West African region, and then most especially in the North African region, which seems to have gone far ahead of the rest of us in West Africa. So he should come up with a program like that. Okay, apart from that, what other program do you have to develop the real youth tournaments? Over the years, we've seen people who say they are youth, but some of these persons who, well, it has all been alleged that they said they are under 17, but some of them it is alleged that they were in their late 20s or middle 20s. Now, by the time somebody plays with flair, with glory, with glamour at that under 17 level, you will expect that he will grow to become an under 20 player, to play in the Olympic team under 23, and then eventually end up in the Super Eagles. But after 2, 3 years, what happens to him? He retires. So was he really under 17? So then we have to ask Gusau to please Gusau, if you must develop Nigerian football, think of developing youth football as such that we grow into a pattern. And that's another thing. What is the pattern of Nigerian football? We used to know what our pattern was in those days. Is it we play from the wings? But what do we play now? So that's something Gusau should look at. Where it may not be his own position to tell the national team coach, oh, this is what we play. No, but then there should be a pattern, there should be a formula. There should be a strategy that creates an identity for Nigerian football. The Samba thing that we play. Now, the Samba thing was very beautiful because we had men who could carry the ball from the midfield to the wings and then cross in, take the ball into the 18-yard box. There were quality players who could do that. The Finidi Josh of this world, the Adosia Metemaker. So aside there, we then had other players. Pius Ikedia in those days, he was a wing player. He may not have been that beautiful, but then, hey, Nigeria had a pattern. Nigeria had a system that you could identify us with. What is the system now? Gusau, please work towards that.
Good one there, coming from Patrick Andrew. Nigerian football just have to get it better. And if you want to do that, we have to get the local, that's our own league, better on a very good pedestal right now, because we need to get it right with our league first. Just recently, the IMC Interim Management Committee set up by the Ministry of Youth and Sport, that they will be seen to the affairs of Nigerian league. But right now, we hope that that will actually have a good toll on our league because we want the best. And according to what he has said, that if you want to get it right, make sure your league is superb. If it's superb, even if it's not up to that level of European football, at least let it be able to withstand the heat within West Africa and also Africa. Well, good one coming from Patrick Andrew, who has been talking concerning this and wishing that Ibrahim Gusau, NFL president, will actually have a template which he wants to work with, and from there, the support that they are calling for him, unwavering support from the Netufo, will be standing. We want to see that he actually succeeds. Well, we'll be looking at that now. Let's move on to talk about CAF Confederations Cup. Rivers United, Plateau United, both of them won their game. The first leg in Nigeria, Port Harcourt and Abuja. But now the second leg will be coming up on Wednesday. And right now, one of the team's striker, talking about Rivers United striker, says we will repeat with Morocco mistakes in Libya. They play against a Moroccan team with Casablanca. After winning the first leg here, they got to Morocco and they lost out on away goals. Well, from the way it is, the striker is already taking a lesson from what happened to them while they were still in CAF Champions League. Now, they are in CAF Confederation. They won the first leg convincingly, and now we didn't concede any goal. So that was a good one. Going to Libya to face Al Nasri of Libya, while Plateau United will be facing Al Aqda. Both of them, although Plateau conceded just a goal, 4-1, while Rivers did not concede any goal, they won convincingly. So the striker was saying, well, we want to make sure what happened at that time won't happen now.
Well, it was rather too painful that Rivers United were beaten the way they were beaten. First of all, poor officiating, they say. Of course, we know that when you play against the North African team, expect anything. So when you're psychologically prepared for that, you then will be able to withstand whatever pressure is put on you. So when they lost against Wydad, it was rather painful. But they must have learned their lessons. I am happy that the striker has made that comment, that they won't repeat the same mistake. I want to see more of action than words. So I look forward to Rivers United on Wednesday playing against a North African team, because that's what Libya is. Now, being able to become conversant with all the intrigues that these people bring on the pitch. So you're going to play against the players, you're going to play against the officials, you're going to play against the fans, you're even going to play against the weather. I hope that Rivers United are not only physically ready, they are psychologically ready, they are mentally ready to withstand the storm that will come against them on Wednesday. Now, and I will expect them to play a balanced game. No, don't go there and play defensive game because you're already five goals up and you think, okay, it's a formality. It is not a formality. Rivers United should go and play as if the match is just beginning. It ends at the blast of the referee's final whistle. So they should have that mentality in mind.
Now, good one there. Now, you look at Plateau United also, you know, the way the North African teams play. They will do everything, just like you said, to throw everything at you for you to lose it morally, psychologically, even before you enter the pitch. Emotionally, they want to make sure you are down. By the time they get to the pitch, they do all their antics and everything just to make sure they get those goals. Now they have 4-1. A goal they consider here in Abuja before they get to Libya, and it's a tough battle. They must not underrate them. Al Aqda, they are supposed to play now that have been cancelled. They will be for them to be able to focus on this game. And we know what Wydad Casablanca did against Libya. Rivers United at the CAF Champions League. So the fact that they won 4-1 or 5-0, the two teams representing Nigeria should be very, very careful not to be complacent, not to be carried away with those goals. These guys can come and make sure they get 6, get 5, or get 4. And that one goal they have scored here, it has cancelled it out. They are able to score 4 goals, 4-0 at home. They've cancelled that one goal here. That will make it 5-4. And for Rivers United, they should, just like you called for them, they should act as if the game is just beginning. Come out, don't defend, go out there, play your game, and make sure you don't concede to the extent of saying, oh, 5 or whatever. They want to get at them as it is.
Beautiful. The last match that Plateau United actually, where they were beaten, was it because their opponents were better than them? No, it wasn't. It was the issue of that word that you use, complacency. because of the initial result that they had, they felt, okay, when we meet them for a return leg, we'll just play a normal game and then we'll qualify. But at that level, it is a competition, especially at the African level. There's no place for complacency. There's no place for going to play a relaxed game. It is war in quotes. And it is you only claim victory when finally, according to the rule of the game, the referee says the match is over. So Plateau United are 1 goal, 4-1. They have 4-1 advantage. To me, there is no advantage. It is still 0-0. So they should put behind the first result. Put that behind them and look forward to beating them again, because it is only when you beat a North African team convincingly that you are guaranteed of actual victory. If you're not beating them convincingly, no, you are not going anywhere. And one of the ways to do this is go out there and do not play defensive. Go there and attack, because attack is the best sort of what? Of defense. If you don't concede in the first 15 minutes, first 20 minutes, and you're actually putting them under pressure, and you are able to get a goal, then it means that you are increasing the hills or the mountain they will have to climb in order for them to surmount you. So attempt to score first, possibly get a second goal, and then you can now not wait to absorb their pressure, because anything can happen then. But then if you're able to score 1 goal, 2 goals, you know that, okay, let's play the game as it comes. If they're attacking you, you attack them, because they will be cautious not to concede more goals, because the more goals they concede, the more goals they will have to score against you in order for them to qualify. So that should be the mentality.
That should be the mentality for Rivers United and Plateau United, who right now will be fighting on Wednesday for the CAF Confederation slot to get into the group stage. And it's going to be a big one, because the North African team, especially the 2 teams from Libya, Al Akda and Al Nasri, we do everything. In fact, no stone will be unturned. They will do everything to make sure they get those results overturned so that it could favor them. But we believe in our teams. Rivers United, Plateau United, the 2 teams must fly. I would hope, coming from Patrick Andrew there quickly. We just have to look at matches, rather a match that will be coming up in Spanish La Liga, where Rayo Vallecano will be taking on Real Madrid tonight. That will be the only match, because matches have been played where Barcelona won their game. Now they are topping 2 points ahead of Real Madrid. Right now, Real Madrid needs this game to roll back to the top, because if they win, they will also be leading against Barcelona. So this is the match where Real Madrid needs a win also.
Who will stop Real in this game? Do they have the pedigree to do so? Do they have the quality to do so? I think Real is on fire. Now, what if played the Champions League, that's their last game, simply tells you that this team is a team that will take a lot to break. You remember the Champions League final against Liverpool? Liverpool were in form. Everything beautiful from all departments, but who won at the end of the day? Yes, Real, because they had a character to win. I think that Real had the character to win this match game, and then return to the top of the table, because they fancy consistently winning at that level, preparing themselves psychologically in order for them to compete at the continent, at the continental level. So I do not see Rayo actually stopping Real in this game. Well, I have not seen a high score line, but then they will still claim the 3 points convincingly. That's my conviction.
Now, while we are talking about this particular game, let me take you to EPL. Over the weekend, there was a lot of action, even though we've done that in our earlier edition. But just to let you have at least normal summary analysis there. Liverpool, they were able to defeat Tottenham Hotspur. And you look at Arsenal, that has been the spirit now behind the Gunners. They were able to defeat Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, that has turned London to red color. And Manchester United, they lost against Aston Villa. Quickly, just a wrap from you.
Let me start from the Chelsea-Arsenal game. Is anybody doubting the championship credential of Arsenal at the moment? No. That 1-0 was just deceptive. They should have scored up to 3 goals. They were better. They outclassed Chelsea. And that's a fact. It's not about sentiment. Now, recall their previous games. Arsenal has been, I think it's a team that is gradually becoming very compact. A team you could fancy to watch. So Arsenal has they have what it takes to compete and compete successfully at the end of the season to be crowned the champion. So I am not doubting their title credentials. I don't doubt that. What they have done so far is convincing. Then there's this what you missed out. Man City, Fulham.
Man City, Fulham. Fantastic game.
It takes a team with character to play the way they played, and were able to grind out that victory. Even though it was just at the what they call used to call injury time in those days. But a goal is a goal. They scored a fine goal and they claimed the 3 points. It takes character to do that. So Man City has the character also to win. So it's tough between Man City and Arsenal.
Now, Manchester United, they lost their game against Aston Villa, although not but the fact that Unai Emery, the same team that were performing abysmally under Gerrard, have now got they find their rhythm. They got 3 goals against Manchester United. It was a shocking one.
It wasn't shocking to me because 2 things usually happen when you fire a coach. The first is the players who want to redeem themselves. And then the second is that the coach who wants to establish himself, stamp his authority on that team. I think that was what played out. And of course the coach, Emery, he's a very tactically smart person.
Yes.
So he knows what to do. And he simply took advantage of the fact that Manchester at the moment is still struggling to build. Unlike Aston Villa. Yes, Steven Gerrard did a fine job, but at a certain stage, I think, will I say ego or something got into him and he messed it up. So, beautiful. I wasn't surprised. Aston Villa played far better than Man United, and they deserved that 3 points.
That's football there. Quickly before we go, let me just give you 2 transfer news. The news says Southampton to part ways with manager Ralph Hasenhuttl. That could be happening any moment soon. They've agreed that they will do away with the man because they're not happy for the fact they lost at home at the St. Mary's in that game. Talking about Southampton management there. Newcastle United and Aston Villa are interested in Real Madrid's forward Eden Hazard. They want to get him. Aston Villa want to get him, and you know Unai Emery knows him very well. And also Newcastle United, even though he has been a bit not too happy that he wants to leave Real Madrid, but from the way it is, it's possible that the Belgian could be leaving if everything goes well when it comes to transfer stories there. I just have to give you those stories for you to have a feel of what's happening around the world of football. We had in the studio, Patrick Andrew has done well giving us those analysis concerning Nigerian football. I want to appreciate your time in the studio.
It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, good one there. I am Adeni Ajishafi. I always say that sport is business and fitness. Thanks for watching.